All right, we're gonna do some digestives today. These are a little bit of a British cookie derived from Scotland. We first had them in London on our honeymoon and just fell in love. So first we're going to process everything. We're gonna take a cup and a third of whole wheat flour, a half a cup of wheat germ or a fourth a cup of flax meal. I'm using flax meal, 6 tablespoons of sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. 1 stick of unsalted butter. We're gonna dice that little puppy up. It can be cold, straight out the fridge, which makes this super easy to do. Make sure you cut this into cubes and not just into tablespoons. We're gonna add those into our dry mixture in our food processor. And then we're just gonna pulse that little baby 1, a 2, a 3. Then we're gonna take a fourth a cup of milk or half and half. I'm using half and half. And we're just gonna pulse that sucker about 6 more times. A 2, a 1, a 1. Oh wait, 1 more. Maybe 1 more. We're gonna dump that sucker out, and then we're just going to begin to mix that sand-like texture together until we get kind of like a sandcastle shape. This took a little bit of time. This is probably the longest portion of the compilation here. So we're gonna double time that, and we're just gonna smush, smush, smush until we get a congealed mess of dough. It's very much like playing in the sand, y'all. We're gonna sprinkle out a little powder here, a little bit of all-purpose flour, and smoosh that sucker down till we get it to a form and shape that is going to roll properly. And then just roll that puppy out. It's gonna crack a little on the edges, that's okay. You're just gonna smush that back together, just like this. And we're gonna keep rolling out till we get about 1/4 of an inch thick. Add flour as you need to, very sparingly to keep it from sticking. And just roll, roll, roll. And then we're going to cookie cutter out in some circles. This is slightly smaller than probably the average size of a digestive, but it's all I got, okay? So we're working with what we got. We on lockdown. It's all good. And just keep squishing those little suckers down until you fill out as much as you need to in that first pass on the dough. You can go ahead and re-roll out the second one. We're just going to lay them now on our baking tray with a little bit of parchment. And with an offset spatula, go ahead and scrape up what you couldn't pull out of your cookie cutter. Fairly easy to get up, but definitely make sure you have a good amount of powder, flour, not powder, on your counter. And then I just smushed the rest up and packaged it up and froze it so we can have it later as a snack. We didn't need that many cookies in the house. So definitely save your dough if you need to. Now we're going to take a fork and we're going to go a 1, a 2, a 3 and poke it. 1, 2, and 3. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. I think you got it. We're gonna bake that at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. Mine needed the maximum 20 minutes. Next, we're going to melt my most favorite chocolate right now, which is Callebaut. That's Callebaut. Callebaut. This, my friends, is probably the most divine chocolate I've had in quite some time. You can pick it up at your local Whole Foods. At least my local Whole Foods carries it in these magnificent blocks, which I chopped about 2 ounces out of, which is about half the block. Dice that sucker up, toss that into a stainless steel bowl over some simmering hot water. Make sure your bowl is not touching the hot water. And we're just gonna mix that puppy till it melts. Now we're just using milk chocolate, so this melts rather quickly, rather beautifully. And we will be adding just a little touch of virgin coconut oil to get the most luxurious, smooth, gorgeous chocolate to dip our digestives in. Here we go, a little bit of coconut. I actually only did about a quarter of that. I did scoop some of it out because it was quite too much. As you can see here is how lava-like, very smooth and flowing this chocolate is. Oh, it's divine. You know what? Skip the whole cookie, eat the chocolate, call it a day. But here we go. We're dipping in to that melted beautiful chocolate. And we're going to take our offset spatula and just do 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Let me show you again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that pattern. Let's see it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. How about one more time? 3, 4. Oh, just for detail. In slow-mo. Look at that beautiful detail it creates on top of that cookie. Let those puppies dry and you're ready to dine.